Well, hey, everyone! Welcome to the Blue Gamer Blue. You know what? That's a little off. Let me adjust this just a bit. Can I? Just a bit. Okay, I think that looks a little better. Kind of the framing. Whatever. But welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue 30 Plus, your video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today for September 9th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing. Yeah, and some other stuff probably. So. GMKLX, Ultronymous, good to see you guys this morning. Let's jump into what I've been playing, actually. Let's do that here real quick. So yesterday, some more split fiction with my wife. Very interesting, again, how little trophies you get along the way. So that might not be one of those games where you bother with trophies as much, because it might be like completely like side stuff and not about your progressing through the game. And then jumping into some Super Robot Wars Y, some more, recording some gameplay footage for a review I'll do on the Gundam Explain channel. But I will say, this is a I think I said it before, a very basic game. Yeah, you can turn it on hard where you have to think about each move, but the game is just simply, move your units around on the screen to have them battle and all that. And it's turn-based, so it's fun. It's fun. Okay, so Helldivers 2, I jumped back into that, because I think I was talking about how my brother, was talking about looking for a co-op game to play, and I'm just thinking, what is a good multiplayer game for us to be playing? The thing I like about Helldivers 2 is you could play it by yourself, and still work on your Helldiver. But it has really good action combat, and there's so much they've been adding. It was neat going on yesterday and seeing all the different, they call them war bonds, but they're like the battle passes that you can still go through and get if you want to use your tokens or whatever they call them, medals on that. But they had the Halo ODST stuff. Now that I'm interested in grabbing, so I might do that. But anyway, just playing it again reminded me just how well this game plays and how good of a game it is. I just, like, you could see the 35 hours I had, so I played maybe 30 minutes yesterday, 45 minutes. So all that the hours I put in to Helldivers 2 before, like, it feels great. It has such a great combat system, movement, everything about it is awesome. And this is a game that's not made in Unreal Engine, by the way. This is I forget the engine off the top of my head. I think it's like is it what? BitSquid. Wow. Helldivers 2 is built on a game engine that is discontinued, has been discontinued for 6 years. Autodesk acquired and rebranded as Stingray, but they discontinued in 2018. That's interesting. I remember reading something about that. I didn't know. I forgot it was that specific. Interesting. So one thing I want to say, though, about Helldivers 2 is it runs great. It doesn't have that Unreal Engine crap. And it's very interesting. I think it was yesterday, David Jaffe was streaming and he was just playing a game and people were complaining about Unreal Engine. And he said he doesn't know why people are complaining. And so I was trying to explain, because it makes sense. Like, yeah, Unreal Engine is good because of how many people can use it. It's, it's free, it's open source in a way. I mean, there's, levels to it, but anyone can really use it. But the problem with that is I think there's limitations that you'll see crop up in other games. And often I think it has to do with like frame rate, frame pacing. But Helldivers 2 doesn't have any of that. The thing is, though, I think these proprietary engines or individual smaller engines can have quirks. Like, for instance, with Helldivers 2, I immediately ran into an issue that I ran into before, and that's where the game will just freeze. And then After about 30 seconds, it unfreezes. That's fine if you're in your ship, but if you are out there with someone and it's freezing, yeah, it's not good. So I did some research and I'm doing the order of operations. The first thing they say is, turn off your Steam cloud and then play the game. And I did that and that worked. So that solved that. And now it had like 6 other things to try, but the first one was just turning off Steam Cloud. So as soon as I launched into the game, started playing, moving around, it never did the freeze. The only time it does the freeze is the typical when you're getting shot out. I think there's a term for it. When you're hell diving. And it's loading into the map and playing the music, it will do a little bit of stuttering there or freezing too. But so it's very interesting. That's a quirk with the engine. The devs know about it. They're trying to fix it. In the meantime, there are some ways to get around it. So I could see myself getting back into this. Hopefully, I can get my brothers also, just for this to be that game that we play, at least for now, because I think it's a really fun, competent, cool game, especially when we could talk to people and stuff. So, yeah, and that's about it. That was about it for what I've been playing. Yeah, I guess we'll jump into news. We'll close that. Okay. Oh yeah, new gaming chair. So it's actually the same one, um, just with a skin on it because the one I had some. It's old. It's a 5-year-old chair. Some destruction from the cat. So, okay, let's head back. Okay. Wolfhound launches in 2026. So this looks very interesting. It's a science fiction World War II Metroidvania. And I might have already looked at that. Yeah, it's on my wish list. Okay. So I guess really the update here is 2026. Now this looks very interesting to Guns of Fury that came out earlier this year. A pixel multi or Metroidvania. So it's really cool that we're seeing. Oh, I don't have the. Hold on, I'm gonna try to. Okay, so this looks fantastic. Yeah, and this looks to play more like Castlevania than Guns of Fury. Wow. This does look great. Oh man, 2026. At least that's something to look forward to. That's going to be quite a while. So let's keep an eye out for Wolfhound. Man, that looks great. Okay. Like I don't want to play it right now. Okay, Boomer Slasher Blood Thief launches September 22nd. Boomer Slasher? Are they really saying that now? Okay, let's see what this is. There is a demo. This looks cool. I see exactly what it is. Probably won't play it necessarily, but this is cool. Oh, runner. So it's a runner style FPS, which that's cool. Not really my thing. Music is badass. Yeah, just watching it looks cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's September 22nd. There is a demo. I'm not that interested in playing, although it looks like it's cool. It probably is fun. Okay, Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei remake confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So that's cool for everything. It just says Switch and not Switch 2, but probably Switch 2. Wow. And GOG, by the way, for $24.99, but no release date announced. Publisher Forever Entertainment and developers Megapixel Studio and Storm Trident. None of that is Sega, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see if so. It's just saying things. Okay, remastered music. Oh, Pandora's Box. Unlock additional gameplay options, modifications, and mission variants after completing the campaign. Oh, okay. But that's still cool that that's there. But enhanced visuals, modern graphics faithful to the original style. And then they have classic and modern controls. Because, yeah, I'm more interested in what is the modernizations that they're adding into this. Which, man, I feel... So I remember getting Panzer Dragoon Orta on the Xbox when that came out. And that was such a big deal. But I don't think I ever finished it. And then I remember they came out with that like Crimson Dragon game for Xbox One. Man, that reminds me when that Xbox One came out, where they messed up and everything with Don Matrick. It was interesting. There was these cool game. It was funny where it was the first time where there was like these games come out on Xbox One, but it's like these aren't the best. Like something was going on. Like that Crimson game I was talking about. Even Rise. Rise was a cool game, but there was something about it where it wasn't like finished. Even Dead Rising 3. Like great fun game, but something about these games where from then on it seemed like Xbox games were never like finished completely. I mean, that's in line with all the changes they were making but anyway, no release date. No Steam link yet. Yeah, it looks like this just goes, yeah. So no links, store links yet for that. Okay. Tencent breaks down its approach to IP development with Sony lawsuit looming overhead. Between Tencent inviting game developers to meet with its VP of Business Operations, Yang Yizhu, at Gamescom 2025, and the moment we actually sat down for our interview on the show floor, the Chinese conglomerate was accused of cloning PlayStation's popular Horizon franchise in a scathing lawsuit filed by Sony. Somewhat coincidentally, Tencent had actually reached out to see whether we be interested in discussing how the company is attempting to create original franchise with global appeal. So they reached out to game developer. Wait, to see if they would be interested in discussing how the company... Interesting. So basically, this article is like, hey, look, Tencent came to us saying they're trying to create original IP. Take studios like Shark Mob with Exoborn. It's a relatively newly formed studio, but they have launched a game previously, and so for us, the ambition is quite big. Also, we believe the market is there for the taking, and they are passionate about making first person. Okay, so it is interesting that this is an article that Tencent reached out to write. So maybe they're just trying to Zhu feels risk mitigation. Feels risk mitigation is also about matching the pitch to the market. Certain genres, he explains, are always going to be more risky. If you look at an open world game, the investment into that before you even get to a minute of gameplay is going to be much bigger than if you were to look at a PvP shooter where you can quickly iterate. He adds. The bar for investing in different types of games is going to be different, and the number of games you're going to... Okay, well, this article didn't really have much of what I was looking for in this, but yeah, the takeaway is Tencent is trying to make some cool games based on what they're seeing works. Okay, Xbox Tokyo Game Show 2025. I'm always curious. Again, like I'm all about all consoles, all things being on all consoles, but like what more does Xbox have up its sleeve, I think? Because I feel like Xbox is going to always have something interesting to make them seem like they're still... Like, I feel like their backwards compatibility, I mean, is second to none, and I'm glad they exist for that. Wait, is there nothing on here? Okay, so this link is just to say... It will feature content from Microsoft Gaming's creative teams as well as exciting updates from partners in Japan, Asia, and throughout the world. So I guess, yeah, nothing much to this, but September 25th, we've got some time until that happens. And that's going to be early, I guess, yeah, Tokyo. So if anything, I'd cover what comes after. Okay. Let's see. This an article? Yeah, this was an interesting article, but I still don't know all the details yet. But basically, SEGA accused of using police to recover Nintendo dev kits it had negligently disposed of. So what happened was there was this dude that would just buy video game stuff, And then the Video Game Preservation Museum wanted to buy that stuff off of him. And I guess since it was like a fundraiser or something, people got wind of it. The rumor is Sega did. Police went and confiscated this guy's stuff. And they were saying like none of the dev kits were returned. So what could have happened to that? Did Sega maybe take it and destroy it? Now, doing the research I did, nothing is linking Sega to this. But in the comments, the author is saying Sega is named in the search warrant. Now, I might have missed it, but I didn't see a search warrant linked in here. Yeah, anywhere to see that for myself. So I don't know if this really is something that was done of Sega, but that's kind of interesting to think. So it's like these dev kits where these games aren't even really being developed anymore. Obviously, Sega didn't need this equipment. I can understand if maybe it was like stolen and they need it back, but there's no word from Sega on all this. But it just, this kind of thing where, you know, companies again can kind of swoop in and do whatever, and then someone was arrested. So it's not like this guy was doing any sort of violent crime or anything. Yeah, and I think he was detained for 8 hours. Again, not a lot, but who wants to be detained for 8 hours for nothing? I mean, the guy didn't really do anything. But I guess the idea here is this was Sega's way to go and get something from someone. So we'll see if you know, that comes of anything. I don't know. All right, and the other thing is, and it just came out today. It's the Bubsy in the Purrfect collection. So this is a handful of Bubsy games. Let me. So you got Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind. That was like back on the old, you know, Genesis, Super Nintendo days. Bubsy 2, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Game Boy. Bubsy in Fractured Fury Tales, Atari Jaguar. That's one I never knew of, never messed with. And then there's Bubsy 3D on PlayStation. And then it looks like there's in when I'm listing them, they're actually the different versions. So for Bubsy 2, for instance, it has the Super Nintendo version, the Genesis version, and the Game Boy version. Although I tell you, it would be interesting to try this Jaguar version, because I remember back in the day, always, you know, at the time where it's like I could be, well, I wasn't necessarily, I guess, working yet, so I couldn't really make money, but we were picking and choosing what consoles, you know, at the time I had like the 32X Sega CD thing going on, and I would see the Atari Jaguar. There's a place called, I think it's called Incredible Universe. Doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe it does, just not near me. And they would have a lot of video game consoles set up that I never was able to get, like the Neo Geo, for instance, Atari Jaguar, 3DO. And I remember seeing the Jaguar, and I had like the Aliens vs. Predator game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be awesome. But it was just one of those things where I think maybe the consoles were just a little too expensive, a little too obscure, where luckily my dad understood, you know, to get like, oh, well, we'll get the, you know, through the years, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, 32X, Game Boy, Game Gear, N64, Dreamcast. Trying to think of what the consoles I got when I was. Oh, and then, you know, the Atari 2600, you know, the original one. But yeah, stuff like yeah, we also had the PC very early. I mean, I was late 80s, early 90s PC gaming. So stuff like 3DO, Sega, or yeah, CDI is another one. But definitely it's very cool. And I've had so many opportunities now if I wanted to go back and play some of these old games that I never got to on these consoles, especially with emulation, but I haven't really done that, because I would like to go through and play the AVP on Atari, you know. So let's see. I think that's it. I don't really have any other news to cover. I think that's it. And you know what? I don't really have any gameplay to show, I guess. What do I do here? What do I do? It's just one of those interesting moments where there's not much news. I could sit and talk on something, but and when it comes to playing stuff, like there's really nothing I could quickly jump in to sort of show off. So this might just be a shorter episode today. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I would just say the main takeaway for news is, hey, Bubsy is out, the Purrfect collection. So let me know if you try that out. I do want to pick it up eventually and play those games. So, all right, I'm gonna head out. See you all tomorrow. Have a good one.